Okay, Tuesday, about 45 minutes into trade. Gonna go through Wednesday's earnings, a few more than yesterday. They are sorted by, once again, the percent change over the last 3 months. Okay, so this STRA for the last 3 months, the return is 75%. FCX copper, remember they bought Phelps Dodge, um, which I think at one time was in the Dow. So this is the return for the last 3 months for earnings for tomorrow. And then on the bottom end here, you have a few of them that are uh, they've been beat up pretty hard. Lost half of it since the last quarter. Now, what I'm looking for here, since the markets are at once the markets are at the highs, right? Some of these have been pressed long, up 75% for the quarter. The old physics, once in motion, stays in motion. But you go after the puts. That's how I'm leaning. You go after the puts. For yesterday, it looks like all but Kimberly Clark, whatever. I talked about that one going bankrupt. It can happen. We saw General Motors. We saw Eastman Kodak. I recently looked up. I was told by an old man that corporations usually last about 20 years, and then they last about 5 years after the founder leaves, right? So you can use Apple. We'll say the founder left the planet in 2011, 5 years, 2016, 15, Apple hit the highs of 134 after hours 3 times, and that's been it since. And it dropped, I think, in the 90s. So then I go back and I look a little deeper, and I read a 3-year-old article that said the corporations last 17 years now, and they, what was it, the 50s, I think it lasted 50 years or something, and then corporations in the 1920s, they lasted like 87 years. Okay, so that we get this stuff is so egregious, the CEOs come in for 4 years, the business cycle, they get forced out, their contract is tied to the stock price, right? I mean, sell some bonds, buy some stock, and increase your pay until the economic cycle stalls. Okay, so sun's in my face, nasty sun. Sun King, the doors. All right, so the strata guy. All right, so these are logged charts, angle of ascent. The bodies aren't in there, so I'd lean that this is a bullfight and some continuation here, but I'll pass on it. There's enough target. It's broke out here, but I'm looking for a strong, unbalanced volume. 22 pages means there's 220 of these little buggers to run through. I'll just run through them quick. Pass on FCX2. I'll just take this as a corrective pattern. You could say A, B, C in this whole down phase. Okay, I'll go scoop this one up when copper's back at 160, that kind of thing. And some bodies are in here. PBIB only has 3,600 in volume. That's a $12 stock, but it would be susceptible to any type of pressuring, like down into this cloud area as support. Besides pivot at 1050, $9. So it's one of those that you either short it down to here, or you have a couple of resting buys, the trend line underneath it continuing on here. Porter Bank Corp, it's another bank. Bodies are in this one. OIIM, technology, semiconductors. We're back to semis. Semis are up this morning. A lot of volume. It's pressed against here, but the bodies are in here. So it means it's susceptible to whacking of a whopping $2.70 stock. URI, rentals, possible double tops here. The bodies are in it, so it's susceptible. It looks like a couple of $1 to $3 moves today on the stocks that whack yesterday. Verizon, a few others that would have been whacked from yesterday. So the bodies are in here, so this is susceptible to a down move. So I'd go after this one, URI. Okay, so URI is the first one I'd go after and buy some puts. If it's worked, that I'd go, say, under 104, 105 area. I'd break it down the chart and take a look at it. Options, right? Yeah, okay, good. MXP, it's already beginning to roll over and the bodies are in it. See how it's coming out of it? You get large candles here, basically stalled. These are weekly bars and it's rolling over, so I'll pass on that, but the bodies are coming out. Rush Enterprises, I believe it's, oh, okay, it's not what I thought it was. All right, so, you know, possible double top on here, no bodies are in it, so I'd say that it once in motion stays in motion kind of thing. I'll pass on that one. Bodies are coming in. WD, Western Digital Corp. So we just had Seagate. The bodies aren't in there compared to previous peaks, right? So it does still have some room to run, but I'd look, you know, look on the short side or writing some calls against it if you're long type of deal. This does look like it's beginning to do the old 5-wave deal. What is this, 82, 83? So just then that's R1, right? 81, 61. So, you know, look to write some calls or something against this one when I pull back to 57, or what's under here to 62 area, you know, pull back and then continue higher. I'll pass on that one. Sell was strength or whatever in the Western Digital. All right, bodies are in here, but it's already rolling over. See, it's coming underneath this big body candle here. These are volume bars, volume candles. So this tells me that there's a lot of volume in there. They couldn't get much more after it. And then now they're targeting the lower end to get them stopped out. You can see the unbalanced volume in here. So, you know, it's one of those that pressure bank cars. We're back to banks, just whack the banks. A lot of volume in here, or bodies in here. It is beginning to roll over. So it's a $14 stock. That was FCF, First Common. Does it say Wealth? Commonwealth. Okay, financial. They abbreviated there. Same type of deal, just whack the banks for today. I'll pass on this one. It does look like it could use some bodies to get in it. You could pressure this thing here. What is this? INUV says it's $1.64, maybe a lean up into here up to $2. Because there's this, you know, I treat this too as like when it comes back to say 50%, you know, like how RSI works. You can see here how, you know, unbalanced volume, nobody wanted it. You got a peak up in here. They came and tried to whack the lower end. The bodies re-emerged at 350. Now it's cut in half and they're still kind of holding on there. Decent volume, it looks like. Here's one, another bank, whack the bank here. But it's already moved, you know, 27 to 24 and a quarter. You know, these things already dropped 10 or 15%. So how much can you whack? Here's one, Rush Enterprises B here. I thought I just saw the A one, and this one comes up B. Not sure of it, but the bodies are in here, so this is susceptible. So I, you know, you buy the puts, but you're trying to target down here, pivot. 26 and change, or even below here 28, so you have to see what the price is. We have 31.20, but this would be one. Whoops, what was that one? Add to the desktop. Well, I didn't want to do that. Rush B. Okay, that's one I'd whack. Another bank one here. If you know, if you're shorting the financials, what's that, FAS and FAS type of deal? Bank shares again. The bodies are in here, so it's susceptible. $19, you know, sell it down to 17. This is LOB, Live Oak Bank shares. This one's already moved. Guarantee Bank Corp. You know, if they've already rolled over, you can see the bodies are in here. You know, they didn't want it anywhere in here, but they want it now, you know. So it's susceptible to a whacking. Another bank, another bank. All right, here's one. Bodies are in it. TCBK. That's one whackable, you know, 34 to 31, so it's a 10% drop kind of thing, and then they would have to fight the support here again. The lower end's 33, so you're basically getting, it's 34 and a half, $1.50, 5%. You know, to each its own. But that's how I'm looking to buy puts, because it's against the grain. I expect them to be cheap. Huntington Bank shares, same thing, whack it, but they're tiny, and you know, we're in that cycle. So in theory, you want to buy the dip, but I'm leaning overall short that this, we might have some issues here. Astoria Financial, bodies are in it, whackable. 18 and a half. You know, you can whack it down to 17 and change. You know, we're talking a buck or something here. Here's one, SYBT, another bank corp, just whackable, but it's already moved 10%. Another bank, IBTX. Bodies are in it, whackable at 65. You could run it down to 52, or what's underneath, it's already poked underneath. So deal with this bar about 55. Flush out, I'm trying to make pain here. Here's these little pink dots are your SAR. So basically it says that, you're stopped out. Once it cleared whatever 33, and you just watch the dots, and then you finally get whacked. This is the first one. This might be the second one. Usually look for 3. What I usually do is if it hits hit, it had a 1 week deal where it tested it. Looks like maybe earnings or something. Tested it and it changed the dots. Then I put a sell up on top on here. Okay, so it did it again. So I put a sell up on top in here, like do it in thirds, that kind of thing. But I was looking for banks and stuff to go higher. For those of you that have been listening for a while, that's what we wanted to buy on any pullback. Financials and small caps. Pass on that. That was DEL. Pass on this. 2 million shares though. What are we talking? $9 stock. Okay, this is kind of interesting here. Banco Santander Brazil. So this is Brazil's version here. It's a few of those. I think I actually got into some of these banks. What was it? SAN. What was the ticker symbol before it was STD? Oh, Santo Bank. It was STD was the symbol, but it looks like there's a few of them here. Santander is the common name. They also own like Compass Bank in America. I think it's the same company. Bodies are in here on a $10 stock. Okay, but isn't that crazy? Lots of volume on the sideways here on the accumulation phase, and then nothing here. Just kind of whittling the thing away here. Yeah, possible stalling up here. Pass. Here's another one that's loaded. Banner Corp, BANR. Bodies are in it. We're up at the upper end at 58. Pivots 49. So, maybe, anywhere from 10-12% up to 20% type of deal. Also holds would support under here at 52. But that's it. You go in here and you buy an option at 50 cents or whatever, and the stock drops $1.50. That's kind of how I look at it. Flip of a coin, and it's to each their own, and you still have to get the options. There are times that it's a great idea, but you can't get the options. All right, here's one. HMNF. Bodies are definitely in this one here too. Oh boy, they just loaded in these trades. Okay, Textron TXT, the bodies are in here though, but it still has a little more room to run. If I'm long kind of thing, I'd write options against this, maybe stagger out, April, May, June type of thing. Going into the following earnings, what I'm saying? If you're long, sell, whatever happens, if it trades higher, then sell some calls, further out, April, May, at least the April, May period here. This one's in here too. OSBC, the bodies are in it, but it's already rolled over from 11 to 965. I wouldn't be a fan of buying the dip though, but each their own, Raymond James still has some room to run on the bodies, but kind of the sideways pattern here. They're tied to the stock market. Does look like another 5-wave, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. This is going to be interesting. I'm focused on how far down we go from whenever it happens, right? If it takes a week, a month, a year, 3 years, whenever we roll into that recession, let's pulls back, and then you have to figure out, okay, now how high is it going to go? Then I'm aiming for 4750 on the S&P. Even if it does get to 1200 or 1600 or 1800, that's my long-term view for now. Just going along with the whole big 18-year macro cycle of real estate. definitely in Lakeland Financial, LKFN. It's already rolled over from 48 to it's going to hit the dots at 42. So folks are after JP Morgan. And before that, when I wrote about it, I should look that up today and start marking these charts. Feed the herd. All right. MLVF bodies are in it. Only 2,500 on trade, though. Here's one here. TSC, Capital Holdings, bodies are the same type of deal. The financials, the banking and stuff, the only caveat is if the economy stalls like it did in 1937. All of a sudden there's just some, it's like every day all these people go on Social Security from the workforce. Maybe a lateral move for income, but there's that massive, it takes a while to retool. You go from oil and fracking and all of that, and it falls apart. And then those guys now have to go do home construction. And that's what we're working on here. We're working on the upswing in the real estate cycle. Our only caveat there is the baby boomers. These are the ones that got divorced after Kramer versus Kramer, and we have twice as many homes. So things are going to we're going to have a lot more existing home sales, hopefully. Well, we have to absorb it, when you have a couple, one of them is going to want the new one, right? All right, this one here, what's this transportation group? Maybe another C wave, but see, you have to look at this. Go back. You're looking here. What's this? 2015. It peaked in 2015 and rolled all the way down. So I have to kind of lean at this as this is just a corrective pattern. You could have a larger sideways pattern here. That's distribution again, and then it rolls over. If your equity is not at an all-time high, well, you have the wrong one, right? The money flowed into here. Now it was actually higher on this here, and it fell apart. This is bad news here. CVTI, Charlie Victor Tango, imbecile. So I have to lean that. This is a corrective pattern. It's had its run all the way and stalled. 2 years ago. And then it's come down and a bounce, and all of a sudden we sideways, bodies roll in here and they couldn't muster anything. So this is susceptible to a rollover here. I need to swing higher in this InvestCorp of Pennsylvania. Remember, these are logged charts, so it's exponential here. Still has room to run on this one. Citizens Bancorp, SCNCA. Swing that way. Is this American? Why does it say $356? Oh boy, look at what we have. Options? No, you buggers. I noticed that with the banks. They just don't make it easy when, they drive the economy into the ground. Oh, no, you can't short equities anymore. Okay, well, I get to hold on to my puts, right? Same type of deal. Peaked a couple years ago, halfway back. Bodies are in it. Only got this far. Short this one. Who are you? Trinity Industries. Good luck. Commercial vehicles. Another Bancorp. Bodies are in it. Whack at $14. TRK. I'll pass on this, but I just would lean that it's corrective in nature. Because I'm looking at the end game here. We've already moved, they aren't really overpriced, but they're not cheap either. I'd go somewhere else, maybe a couple of currencies or something for this year. The British pound and the Mexican peso. SCB, it's already rolled over 40 to 44. It's already dropped, what's that, 12% before the earnings. So, but its bodies are in there. Mobile communications probably go along with the Verizon. We'll call this a triple top on here. Bodies are in it. This is susceptible to going through the other end because in the sideways action, it jabbed to break out. It failed in theory. That usually swings hard quickly down to the other side to 60. So you have one at 80. So any strength in this one for earnings tomorrow, I'd look to buy puts kind of thing on it. Larger sideways degree pattern, but it's trying to give it a shot. It didn't make it. So, it could be a shot to 54 on here. ATN International Technology Mobile Communications. Bodies are in it. So, but it's a sideways. So some sort of trend's going to break out either higher or lower. But I lean on the short side here while I'm watching for some sort of shorts. KNX, pass. Here's one, bodies are in it. EIG, employers holding. It's already done some rollover of 10+%, but that's what if it swings up, then after earnings, buy the puts and see if it comes down to 34. That's how I look at these. Bodies are in this one, but 5,200 in volume. BWFG. Holy buckets. Another Bancorp, CACB, whack it. Here's a good one. Life Insurance Financial, AMSF. That one, bodies are in here too. That one is just kind of leaning too far. Watch this one here. It pattern broke out and kind of had that wane thing going on here. 38 for S2. That's what I think is going to happen, is whatever happens up here, like if these things hit R2, then they're headed to S2. We raise rates, if equities continue higher and then bonds come off and I don't see that C wave, then rates are going to go higher here, and it'll be the third hike there. And that's what we're doing. That's exactly what we're trying to put some fluff in there. So just in case, it hits the fan, we can pull back on the rates. Same thing, transportation, it's just a bear market bounce. That was a nice head and shoulders top kind of deal. This is basic, logged trend line. These are 12, so there should be a 12-week, 24-week, and what it is it's using like the lows, last lows of the 12 weeks. Okay, you can use the red one here, and it would have got you out here. You're far enough away. Once it breaks out, just move your stop up, and then you're cracked right here. Unfortunately, stock had to fall $20, but trend lines, or for me, point and figure chart. But this is it. This is just your basic straight trend line on a logged chart sideways. You're going to get a trend to break out, and it traded lower. Pass on Cathay Bancorp. This one's kind of fat. Nice bars, but only 40,000 in volume. Ooh, I might have a buy set up here. Bank United, BKU. We may, because of the bodies are coming out of this thing, you may have one where it comes into the 30s area. You might have the double top thing going on, channel deal. So this would probably be one that I'd lean, on a pullback, because it's going now the other way. They've already known that the bad news is coming and they're getting out of it, and then all of a sudden the news is gone, and it's just, maybe it's a quarter or two. They all go running into this trade, and then you still have to produce. Remember, the stock market's looking 6 months forward. That's what I am told. Another Bancorp. Where are these banks, man? VSEC, Defense Industrial. NOK, I think, dropped, and Grumman or whatever. They're, don't treat it this as a double top for now, and the bodies are in it. It's like, oh, it's a Republican, buy defense. Yeah, well, guess what? They've already moved. Here's one here. Specialty chemicals. Another, swing higher in here and be defensive on this thing. Bodies are definitely in it. KWR, Quaker Chemical. No options. Here's one, TER, whack this one, semiconductors. Bodies are in it. That's the whole semiconductor trade. So if you saw the bank trade and everybody pile into it, they're piling into the semiconductors, which, if you remember the late 90s type of thing, we had to find something. And your Cisco and your Microsoft and all those tech ones, they just recently got on board. What was it? Microsoft, it took 15 years for it to crack the high, right? So the bodies are in this one. TER, dump this thing. Save as TER. All right. Cool. Options, yes. So that's what it is. This is what I found. I go, okay, I want to buy some puts against this thing and maybe target 23, or at least under this bar, 24. And that's the other thing too. If the stuff comes out before the options market opens, that's why I like futures. They're closed for just a little bit. They start up Sunday. You can't say that about owning equities. I just love me some futures. I get my leverage, you know, and for me, I started on the floor when I was 19, you know, had just the spread alone was 4 times minimum wage. And so, I mean, if I can make, you know, buy and sell one contract every hour, I'm making 4 times, you know, 4 times what was a minimum wage? That's like, what is that, $12.50? So $12.50 an hour. It was actually more than that, but yeah. So that would be what now? $40 an hour? Well, hold on. Now that you say it that way, Kev, 4 times minimum wage is a lot of money, you know. But you know what I'm saying? You know, it's like pulling it out of S&P. What do you want and how are you going to get it done? You know, that's the whole deal. Talk about, you know, for me, I just kind of eyeball it and get a gut swing, and then just you get, you know, if you're banging away at 70% winners, you know, there's a reason why it didn't, you know, the first click, you know, the whole, I bought the first dip, I bought the second dip, I made the third dip. It just doesn't, you know, hallelujah, I had a bad day. What do I know? You know, I'm going to have 7 days straight of winners, you know, that kind of thing. You know, that's how you look at it. You know, we've all had them. One great month, and the last week it just disaster, you know, for whatever reason, you know, and that's the whole deal. You know, it's open-ended, right? So you let the winners run. You know, what's your goal? I want to make this a day, $200 a day, whatever, off of 5,000 for S&Ps. You pick up 4 points. You know, that, like, it's kind of like the day trading thing. You have to go out and hunt these things like elk. You know, every morning you have to get up and go hunt a new elk. It's a lot easier just to find one thing, learn it, live it, love it. And, you know, say like S&Ps and just trade that, or trade the Russell, or trade the NASDAQ, or trade soybean, trade bonds, trade the euro. You know, find something to just love it to death, you know. See, like in my case, I'm not trading what's happening today. I'm not reactionary, you know, in a sense. You know, if the thing pops $2, I don't go chasing after it. I would have been in yesterday. Just like I'm doing this whole earnings thing here. I'm trading for what I think is going to happen tomorrow, or in the, you know, in the short run kind of thing. Like when I talked about oil yesterday, Monday, you know, we all know that it's loaded with shorts or with longs, but it's not rolling over. It's not doing what it's supposed to do, you know, and that was what I wrote today about, you know, shorting a dull market. We're, you know, I'm beginning to feel it. I feel it too. All of a sudden it's like, okay, you know, I'm getting a little antsy here, you know, and what happens there is you go chasing after something else and it doesn't work out. And then the original trades, okay, begin to work and you're not in it. And then all of a sudden you have mental masturbation. You worked out your plan. It was patience. Is, you know, click here, click there. This is kind of a fun chart here on this one. HNI, Hone Industries, cyclicals furnishings. A lot of people got out of it, about half back, you know, kind of deal. But you can see the unbalanced volume. The bodies got into it, poked, tried to do the double top, didn't do it, did it a third time. Bodies are still here. So I just watch this thing here, you know, larger sideways here. I don't know if it breaks, I'd take it because of the bodies would have to come back in. But you can see how the bodies came out of it. And, you know, they didn't want it down here. They sure as hell want it up here. You know, and that's how I look at it. That's the contrarianism in me. You know, I go, oh, here's one, FFIV, 5 networks here. Any type of strength on this one, I'd whack it here. FFIV. Gonna be, some of these earnings are pretty good. Here's another one, CMO, let's whack that one. Upping $10. Cake. Looks like a bear flag here. Secondary distribution to lower here. Outside of restaurants, the number one failure, right? And then there comes retail. So I'd be kind of defensive on here, but for me, I'd look for, you know, if I'm long this thing, you know, you has to hold the pivot and the breakout deal here, you know, respect your trend lines on here. But, you know, if it does swing higher here, I'd kind of get on the defensive side. Pass on this. Bodies are in it though, SPLK. Bodies are in it. It's $21 stock. Yes, it has options, so you can short it. Wow, 9 of 22 pages. Glad I got an early start, right? ROK is I dump it. ROK is a dump. Pivot 120 here, 122 are okay. I should save those here. So I can mark them in my fuddy-duddy account. I try to stay away from as much of this stuff as possible and have a neutral outlook. This is my primary deal here, is running around and finding the fishing hole and then go grab you guys and go fishing. Pivot here, W-I-R-E, wire. I'll avoid it. Fun looking chart though. Bodies are coming in there. Cullen Frost Bankers, CFR. I think I actually did a video or something back last year on shorting this thing. I remember correctly. Did come down, not a little less than half, about 40-50% drop and moved up. The bodies are coming back in here, so I kind of look a little on the defensive side. CFR. CFR already exists. You want to replace it? Cancel. How about CFR1 then? I have to go look up what the other CFR looks like, right? Oh, bodies are in here. Getty Realty Corp. Go and whack this one. GTY. This is. Oh, here's where we're getting in the marginal, folks. GTY is a whackable one. That's ta-da, ka-ching. Pass. I got to go through these things. You guys are going to go bonkers having me sit here. But this is what I do. Maybe a little bottom fishing on this one here. Oil Energy, CLB. Now, the bodies did get out, but it doesn't mean that it can't roll over here. I'll just say that this is secondary distribution. Okay, yes, shoulder, head, shoulder, but it's more, we want it more down here kind of deal. This is just kind of like, for me, second distribution here. If it fails at 95, it'll roll down to 60-something. So that would go along with my oil. You know, you can see all the bodies in here, and it didn't work. And then they kind of got out of it, you know, on the way back up. And then they really got out of it. They spooked themselves out of it here, and that's why we're getting this bounce, I think. This is stochastics, I believe, on a weekly, so it's up there. You know, stochastics were up here before. So here it is, a lower high here. So watch for rollover here, CLB. Options, you betcha, CLB. I'm not sure what iron butterflies. All I know is that's a lot of commissions. You know, out of $1 or $2, right? How much are the commissions? All right, this one, RES, is I'd say is short down here, double top. RES. All right, rock and roll ski. Come on, Kev, just rip right through them here. They already have enough. Boeing, I already wrote, I think 2 weeks ago, about enough hiding. Back when it was down at 110 or some deal, I talked about the hiding place in Boeing for the dividends and stuff. Now that it's up here, I said, okay, enough hiding. So you guys would have to have been following me, you know, early in the year. I think the videos were posted, was talking probably about the Dow 30 when I ran through them. Nice chart, another bank. Here's one here, LRCX, Lamb Research. Oh, I remember those guys. I would be working on a short LRCX, save as. LRCX, that's a short ski. Here's another one, LMAT. Medical equipment, bodies are in it, rolling over. It's already, this is pretty good, 27, you know, short, and that's your stop up there. That's pretty good. You're targeting around 16 to 19 area, at least this spot, 21 for pivot, and this fat bar of bodies. All right, I'll pass. That's a fun chart. Freaking banks. Chemicals rolling over here. There's a good one, Meredith Corp, Cyclicals Publishing. It's having issues here. A lot of these just look like they're going to roll through the other side. You know, broadening top type pattern, you know, broadening top, megaphone, I think they call it. You have, you know, sideways channel. Yeah, MDP, that's good enough to put some distant puts on any strength, because remember, these are earnings for tomorrow, so you know, 58 or 60 calls or puts, $1, whatever, for, you know, leaps. That's what I'm talking at. You're tossing something for leaps. You're, you know, if I'm looking for something to get to 25, 26 in the next year, we'll say, you know, from here, it goes from 68 to 26. You know, that's you get some leaps. You know, spend a buck or two or whatever, and you get them, and you have it. And you go on, you find something else, and that's what I have to do every day. Because the opportunities present themselves, like ESSA, another bank, whack it. Bodies here, TEL, whack it. Here's another one, HXL, on a pop, whack it. I'm looking at divergence here in Progressive Corp. That's what I think I'm going to have going on here in all this gobbledygook. This is your ADX line on a weekly, so this tells you that you're in a trend and it's moving up. So you just want to kind of watch this thing to see where it stalls out up here. So, you know, sell some calls against it, you know, like April 41s, whatever. Remember, it's earnings. If it spikes up, try and sell some calls off of it here. That's if you know, my prerogative is I have to hold stuff long forever, you know, if you're an index manager or what have you. Now, we're back to that Banco Santander thing again, and we're about halfway back. But I did talk about all those things back here. Anytime it's in the news, Deutsche Bank, I want it. Here's a T. Okay, double top here on the T situation. May poke its head through and then come back down. T, better save T. Because I'm behind the CIA 1,000% too. This one's already rolled over, Bancorp. Wow, could you believe that? Say that if all these patterns here fail, everyone gets it. We're in the banking cycle. You know, I've been talking about that, you know, of what's coming next. You know, where are we in the cycle? You know, out of 6, you know, phases, where are we at? We're like in 4 going into 5. You know, we're running out of time here. So in my case, it'd be like you buy, you know, on the new highs in the market, you'd buy some puts for, you know, 2019 and 2020, if you know, that kind of thing. Take them, you know. And the other flip side of it is, you know, it's not as much a speculation as you can hold on to your portfolio. You know, do you want to do the tax man? You have a fat portfolio, sell some futures against it, so you kind of flat. You know, and then when time comes, you lift your futures, take the profit, and buy more equity. You don't have to see the tax man. I mean, some of you have 50, 60, 70, 80 years in front of you of life, if you can hack it. This one looks like it's failing here. ANIK. This little pattern here looks like we might have a bear flag going on here. Stochastics is up here too. So we might have a failure at 41 run, and it'll be cut down to 26. You know, you have a huge double top saucer type thing and it rolls over. ANIK, I should save that one. All right, NG looks like a bear flag and then continue lower. Bodies are in it, $2, $5 stock, 1.8 million. That would be NG, Nova Gold Resources. ACFC is a short, $7 stock. NEO is a short, $9 stock. UTX, treating that as just a larger distribution type deal. I mean, you know, just draw your trend lines underneath it here and, you know, go with the flow. But, you know, it goes 97, then we're looking at 70, and this would be an A or a, you know, 1 wave down, then 2 wave, and then 3 wave 70. You know, start getting that into your head, S2 on these weeklies. And when this stuff cracks, that's what I think is going to happen. You know, we take off at least, you know, 12, 15% first, and then take a look, you know, after that. This one's SWJ Waters Utility. The waters and stuff were good, but they're part of the utilities. A lot of bodies in there. California is getting wet. That's what I'm going to assume, you know. The wasteful stuff, you know, leaky toilets and whatever. It's the water business besides the drinking part. But if you were watering lawns, now you don't have to, you know, that kind of thing. So probably a bear flag here and lower. So this water, SWJ, got to buy some puts on this thing. Puts, options, no. So you don't want my money, huh? All right, here's a rollover loan, Manhattan Bridge Capital. That one looks like kind of a bear flagish thing, $7 stock, but the bodies are in it. Options, no. Oh, here's one IX as a long trade. The bodies are out of it here. Basically you're getting rewarded if it breaks up. You have a shoulder here. The bodies aren't in it. 35,000. No, I just have to pass. It's not as clean. This one's already moved for the bodies. Double top. This one could actually drop further. Options, no. DHIL looks like a short on any strength. Oh, those are pretty charts. ITW, it's a short. Illinois Tool Works, short strength on that one. DI-Fi or Sci-Fi, SIFI. A lot of bodies are in it, and you want to sell strength. State Street Corp. That bodies aren't in there, but we might have like a megaphone type pattern going on here. Head and shoulders on tile. SCI is a short. Skip it. So in theory, some of these are going to have IACD is a short. These are all tiny little. PCMI is getting expensive. This Hess looks like it's just going to, it's an ABC correction of, wave lower. So oil drillers are going to come off. And you're saying to yourself, but Kev, why can't you scan for, yeah, it only scans for the crossover. But I like to look at the charts. I'm a visual guy, a photographer, I don't paint though, which would be a good thing because it's going to be unique, right? FDLM, yes, it's an options, $10 stock, susceptible, the bodies are in it, but look at its corrective wave. If this is auto parts, right? So auto parts already rolled over, where are we in the economy? Everybody have a new car? Mine was built when, okay, this is a short here. Here we go, VNTV. Oh, goody. We found another one. VNTV. We found a winner. That's a short. All right, I got to get this out so you guys can get some of this stuff down. MMSI is a short. NTRI is a short. Bear flag, working ARI, that's getting there. That's at a REIT. Okay, so it's like I said, the REITs are just getting bounced because of the debt. Come on, you. And I got some more pages to go. Cry is a short, CRY. Oh, that was what you call it, right? Cryo Life. A lot of bodies in here, though. Susceptible, it's susceptible to a whack job. It goes from 18 to 16. You're going to scoop up all the people under here. I mean, how you could swing higher this way, right? Now you can understand why I just like futures. I get my leverage. I only have to do a couple of ticks and I'm out of there. See, I still have that same mentality as a floor trader. Here's a bear flag here. NRV is a short on strength. $1,500. Holy buckets. Where did this one snake by? $1,700. Options? No, it's a short though. It looks like distribution. CTO is another one, hot one. It's a short real estate developer. All right, great. So we're going to get, all right. So you're going to need to buy home builders and banks. And that's going to be it for the cycle here. Here's a short DTE, electricity. Yeah, okay. So any, if the market falls 12, if we're at 1850 on the S&P, you want to go after the banks and home builders, financing and stuff. And we'll find more groups there. VG, that's a short. PSA, let that one continue to unravel here. It looks like there's a second. This is a secondary distribution, a third, tertiary distribution, and then 160 type of thing is what you're aiming for next. ETH is a short on strength. Club is not enough for it. I'll treat it as a bull flag deal. The bodies are still holding in there. Club, CLUB options, no. 26,000 in volume, I'll pass. But you guys could probably gun this thing up. You know, I'm not saying it's going to. Here's the sell-off. See, they were in here up here, but they're not in here down there kind of deal. All right, here's a swing 8, utilities, EGHT. You want to fade on the strength on that one. I'll pass on that one. Here's a rollover candidate, RLI options. Yes. Any strength on this one? You want to short this deal here. It's a broken chart in my eyes. The chart's broken. Oh, that's right. I'm looking for. Here's a bottom fisher. SMED, Sharps Compliance Waste Disposal Service. SMED. Bodies are out of it. Possible bullway or bull flag here. It's already moved. 42,000 in volume though, but it's a 446 stock. You know, it's one of those that whatever, you know, boom, you're out of it. That's kind of how I lean on it. I don't know what the short interest is in there. See, it's a lot, you know, it's a lot easier for me to trade the whole stock market, you know, what I think is going to happen overall versus the individual stuff. I'll pass, you know, I go in with my leverage. You know, you collect 20 points or something on the S&P, it's 1,000, but 20% return, you're done, right? You want to keep that 20% for the quarter, the month, the year, the day, you know, that kind of deal. You know, SMED. That's the whole thing, right? What do you want to have for return, and then figure it out. No, okay, UFI possible swing. Gosh, the bodies are coming out of it, but I'd pass. But I'd kind of lean this way. But this looks like a sick pattern here that it's headed down to 15. You know. Pass. This one looks like it's falling apart. EFII. That one's a large distribution pattern. So you're going to get a trend of some sort, higher or lower. So EFII, keep an eyeball on that one. APH, that's a short. Amphenol Technology, Electrical Components, that's a short. APH, Amphenol is a short. Or weasel out of it, sell options against it, you know, that kind of thing. DRE, Dre, Duke Realty, that's a short on any strength. Bottom fishers for you swingers, VRTX, on balance volume, the bodies are out of it. Either way here kind of thing, 90 or 55, you know, kind of deal about it. You know, maybe get short at 107 or 103, you know, short up in that area, you know, depending upon if you're in it or not. You know, this one has bodies in it, but it's a cheesy stock. VNC pass. This one looks like it's setting up for a short. MKTX, no options. eBay looks like a bear flag here. Maybe it'll get some bounce with Baba or something. Now looks like possible double top on here. Now it's a short NOW. EXR looks like a short broken chart. You know, because these charts go back to what, 2011? You know, if the data's there, you know, it's been running up for 6 years, and I'm like, short. You know, I mean, and if these things crack to the upside, the angle of ascent will be sharp. Okay, because you have people like me that are going short, and they're like, okay, and they, you know, they whip out the short, and then whatever happens, you know, we pass the capital gains tax thing through, and then all the corporations bring the money in, and it saves earnings, right? We game the system, but remember, once they do that, there's nothing on the back end, so you're pulling it forward. MCK is a possible double top. I believe I talked about the old shorting up in here. So if you are short, you may have to face a bounce to a little under 100 here. I'll treat this as a head and shoulders. Oh, my joke was, well, McCormick, because it's spices, right? Would they get into the weed business? You know, little bottles of weed. You know, I've looked at a lot of those weed stocks. Are any of them over a penny? I mean, I just look. It doesn't. It's, oh, everybody's going to be bad. Whatever. No, I don't know. Secondary distribution with Abbott. Drugs are in bad shape in general. Oh yeah, you know, we're going to run out of baby boomers. Kevin, shame on you. Couldn't find that symbol, huh? AR, oh, yeah. Looks like bankruptcy written all over it. Pass. The on-balance volume should be low on these, right? I don't know, swing maybe higher in Canon CAJ, but it just kind of is bad news here. I use a Canon. Secondary distribution rolling over. Now you guys are going to go, wow, I looked through all these, 200 something charts on there, and there was like 2 that were bullish. That's right. That's a short. CMPR, compressed of whatever. Simpris, Industrial Business Support Services. This looks like it's working on a bear flag on here. You support it that this is your short here and your short here, or your stops. If you're bullish on this thing, swing higher and look to get defensive on this thing. This looks like follow through selling is going to, continue on here. And Vivo. And then DLB, looks like buyers are coming into this one here. Dolby Laboratories. Oh, that'd be nice here. Some sort of swing up here, then I'd probably get defensive on it. You saw the bodies come in here, and this is the bounce here. So it's, it has to hold this breakout here. It comes back through 45, 46, then it'll probably come through 30s and 20s again. What? Oh, looks like a nice bear flag here, and the bodies are in it. Okay, Income Corp. Oh, is a short on strength. Yes, we found another one, which is at the wrong end of the charts for my scanning here. This is near the end. These are lousy returners for the last quarter. So in that case, there would be buys. Las Vegas Sands looks like it's, peaked 3 years ago. Here's one to short. CYS, any strength? Well, it's an $8 stock. Oh, that's a large distribution. CSGP, large distribution in its options. The unbalanced volumes in the middle. So I wonder if this could be merged with somebody here. LH looks like a bear flag here. And bodies are in it. This one's a short. Yay, we found another one. LH is a short. All right. Now pass. Get this over with. Get posted. Wow. See, McKesson, one broken chart, side with secondary distribution, craters, right? This is all that triggered all of craters. This is the bounce against it to get rid of the stock. McKesson, it's broken. You'd one trend line, broke it, sideways secondary distribution, cracked, fat bar. I mean, that's the machine said, whoops, now we know what we're doing. Yeah, no kidding. And then up to here, and then a rollover. And if you go back, you probably see that I said shorted up in here. That's a problem with me. I move on to the next one. VRX was the same way. Shorted up in here. Shorted, and that kind of thing. And so now when I have to go back, it's like, didn't you? Yeah, I did 2 years ago when it cracked the trend line. I said, get out of it. And everything's bullish there. I go, what? What you talking about, Willis? Oh, no. Double top here. Options, yeah. Price, decent. MDCO is a short. Too many bodies in here. MDCO is a short. MDCO. See, now this would be where I'd have my helper come in and dump this stuff for me. I'm a one-man band. All right. Price alert on the Dow. Okay. All right. Trend line broke. Secondary distribution. Hey, Kev, I remember that pattern. Yeah. All right. Novartis. Bad news, just bad news in drugs and stuff in general. Well, yeah, duh. We're going to repeal Obamacare. 20 million people are going to have to pay for their drugs or something, right? I mean, I don't know. I just go to the county hospital. Where I live, if it's anything more than a compound fracture, they have to fly you out. So my insurance would have to include an airplane or a helicopter. And that's a long story. All right, here's a swinger on the upside. SGMO, what are we at? $4 stock. Give it a swing on here. That's how I look at it. SGMO. I'll post this today. you know, like that box C or whatever that went off yesterday, I think was one with this video. I am, you know, I don't mind doing this per se, you know, it allows me to just see stuff. I get giddy, you know, it's kind of like practicing tennis, you know, hitting the ball against the boards. All right, here is a distribution here, secondary distribution. IBA is a short. Food products, IBA is a short. Options, no, but it's a short. You know, you have your top, broke the channel, sideways, secondary distribution, and it'll roll over and go to 32. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at this IBA. Oops, is headed to 32. IBA 32 from 47. Eat. Drinker International. Wow, secondary distribution. Looks like the recession's on its way. Their bodies did come out of it, though, so they're trying to make a stand and at the bottom of the cloud. Ooh, this is one to watch, but I'll pass. See how the bodies came out of it, and we get a swing higher. Didn't do much. You know, fat bar again. See how it works out. Yeah, Brinker. Yeah, resistance will probably be 52, 53 on here, but this does look like secondary distribution. That one looks like a tough one. That looks like it lost it here. Too deep of a pullback on here. Bodies are still hanging in there, but I'd be a shorter up in between like 32 and 35 into the cloud. UHS, top, sideways pattern. Breaks, I'd be early on this one. Breaks 105, it's probably headed to the 75. UHS, Universal Health Services. It does look just like it's going to roll over. Peak of bodies here, you know, this was higher than this one, but price was lower. So the people are stuck in this thing here. They did clean some of them out, not much left, but any strength on here, I'd develop a short position. UHS. Sideways, GFI, gold. You know, gold has to clear 1220, whatever. You know, even move it up to 1230. Then it's, you know, 1355 or 1255. You know, that one. Qualcomm already cracked on here. You know, it peaked out 3 years ago, came down, lost, you know, 45%, back up here, didn't make, you know, so we have a lower low and a lower high, and it's falling apart here. It does, I'll just go out on a limb here and say Qualcomm is headed to 29. And then, of course, your stops if you're short are somewhere up in here. The bodies didn't come into it on this bounce. But you can see the bodies rolling here, you know, higher unbalanced volume, prices were lower. This is where they got caught. This looks like a bottom in the sideways pattern and trends higher. Oil equipment services. That's how I play these deep V bottoms. You know, it bounced off here, trading sideways, and poked its head up. But since it's an oil and the bodies are in it, you know, and you're facing the risk of $6 and kind of, this is kind of like going after CHK and that. It's not working. So HLX, I mean, it's, you know, maybe an acquirer type deal down the road if it, you know, hangs in it at $5 or $6 for 20 years. This one's rolling over. KRA options. Yeah, large sideways. Oh my gosh, last page. Wow. Oh, that's a fun looking chart here. BVX. Bodies are coming out of it, but it's not as, you know, it's halfway back. I'll pass. And then this one, bodies are out of this one. DWCH. Options, no. Possibility, you know, the bodies are out of it. A possibility of a swing this way. DWCH. You know, if you get it, you know, if you buy 200 shares, sell 100 here, sell 100 here, that's it. Boom, you take the money and go. You know, it's pointing in the wrong direction. It's just going sideways now, more distribution, you know what I'm saying? But the unbalanced volume says that the bodies are out of it, so it's susceptible to some sort of even a one-day spike. I mean, it could be open, you know, it could be up $2. Like, what did we go after? Fro, I think it was Fro and Ferrogas Partners, you know, it was like $7.50 or $8 on the open, like 2 days after I, said to buy it, and that was it. And then it came back down to where we bought it at. So I'll pass on this one here. Industrial Airlines. This looks weak here. Got the V bottom thing again, but the bodies are in it, so it's susceptible to moving back here. Graham. That's the end of that. So you guys should be good to go. And if I see anything, I'll send it to you. But this is, remember, earnings for Wednesday. All righty. Everybody have a wonderful Tuesday. Bye-bye.